What I am scared of, this is going to sound kind of petty and meaningless after that, is vomit. I'm going to start when I first became afraid of it, and that was when I was estimating, because it was a long time ago, but I think I must have been around 4 or 5. I'm not sure if I'd started school at this point, but it was at an age where my favourite TV shows were Fun Song Factory, and my favourite TV channel was Playhouse Disney, which doesn't play Fun Song Factory, but that's irrelevant. I had a dream where presenters from Fun Song Factory and Playhouse Disney were sick on camera repeatedly. In the case of Playhouse Disney, the other presenter was completely unaware of this. He'd be saying, you know, look, I'm being sick, turn the camera off, and nobody else was aware. I just remember these people who, to me, were important adults with lives and control, and people that were trustable, were losing control of their bodies. That's the bit of vomit that scares me. If it's a small child, if it's a baby or a child up to the age of about 3 or 4, it doesn't bother me because they're just a child. Whereas, say, a teacher at school, I see someone that you see as an authority figure and have respect for losing control of their body as they vomit I'd feel like I was, one, invading on something that was quite embarrassing and don't like it. The other thing is it makes me feel sick. Combination of the fact that it makes me feel sick, I feel that I'm invading on someone's space if I have any level of respect for them, which is most human beings. It makes me want to either run away and yell, which I'm pretty good at not doing nowadays, or the one that I do more often now, although I'm sometimes good at avoiding this too, is fingers in my ears, eyes shut, curl up in a ball, and wait till I'm completely convinced that I'm not going to have to deal with it. I'm now at a stage where there's vomit on the floor, and the person who has been vomiting is left. I can walk past that fine now, I don't have a problem with that anymore. If I get enough warning, I'm getting to the point where I can sit and breathe and think, right, you need to face this fear, and sometimes, I've never got as far as literally watching someone throw up, but I have got to the point where, you know, not my fingers in my ears, I've always had my eyes shut, or I've seen them convulse and then just like, can't do this before they've actually thrown up. You don't want all that gory detail. The point is, not as bad as it used to be. I remember one Christmas we had someone from church to stay, and he ate his Christmas dinner far too fast, and he was sick at the table, and I had this fit. I was 7-ish, and I screamed, and I cried. I said, I can't look, I can't look. I didn't actually see anything. Like, as soon as he said, I don't feel so good, and look, you know, went pale, head away, under the table, out of the way, and Mum actually took me outside and had to, like, calm me down, and then she said, you never do that, I don't care if you can't look, you don't scream like that, and you don't make such a fuss. It's one way of dealing with your child's fear. Now I get why she did it. It wasn't just the case of I'm screaming right now, it was the fact that there were visitors present, and this poor guy was already probably feeling awful. My reaction probably wasn't helping. I mean awful in both the physical sense and the emotional, oh my goodness, look, I'm so sorry for what I've done to your tablecloth sense. I came back and finished my dinner, quite impressively. Well, it had been cleaned up, and I won't go back in the room telling you it was cleaned up. That was when I was at my worst, I think. Films. You know how films come with a warning, like how many of each of the swear words there's going to be, and whether there's any sex in it, all of that? They should come with a warning about whether there's any vomit in it. Because there are lots of films where the character heaves, and then you don't see them vomit, which I am now fine with. If you don't see them vomit, I know they're acting and it's fine. I still have to fight not to just curl up in a ball. I have to sit there and think, right, calm down, deep breaths. You need to deal with this. Because later in life, one day, you're going to be in a room with someone who is sick. And you're not going to be in a position where you can run and hide or curl up in a ball. You might even be the one who has to clear it up or hold their hair. So deal now, and it'll be easier later. Charlie said, you could avoid guacamole. You often don't get warning with vomit. And even the fact that I know that I might have seen it if I hadn't panicked, if I hadn't realised, makes my heart race. I actually had an incident with it a couple of days ago. I'm not especially squeamish. Blood, mucus, coffee, snot stuff, internal organs. Not all that bothered by. But if it makes somebody else vomit, suddenly there's a problem. So there's one guy who fainted. We were sitting in a large, room in the hall in rows. I couldn't see what was going on. All I heard was everything went quiet. I was groaning. I just thought, I don't know what to do. What if he's being sick? I wasn't in my cast iron breastplate of emotionless nothing that I sometimes can be. So I was not in a position to deal, and I just curled up in a ball. My fingers in my ears. The guy, didn't throw up. He just fainted. Every now and then my body just reminds me, by the way, this is something you can't deal with. Basically everything I have to say on the subject. There's not many things I'm afraid of, so that's the thing. See you next week.